Hi, everyone. Welcome to Spirit Switchboard. I am your host, Carrie Lynn Shellhorn, and you are listening to us live on the United Public Radio Network and the UFO Paranormal Radio Network 105.3 in the Gulf Coast and 107.7 FM out of beautiful New Orleans. I hope everyone's had a great week. Hi, everybody. Thank you for being here. I was thinking about... I've had so much going on. I don't know about anybody else. And fast-paced, really good. And then somebody reminded me that it was retrograde. Retrograde started today. I think Mercury retrograde started today. I don't know. I don't necessarily buy into that things have to fall apart because I've not necessarily had that. I've had some amazing, beautiful things happen all week, like pinch me kind of wonderful things all week. And it's Venus in retrograde, Heidi. I need to be educated. You would think that I would pick it up faster, but I just don't. I love Joni so much, and I love when Joni from my friend Joni Templeton Skinner has been on the show a number of times, and she's a brilliant astrologist, and she is a great teacher. I'm just slow at the draw. Hi, Contessa. Mort, I don't want to miss you. Hi, thank you for being here. All planets align tonight and the new moon. Hi, Michelle. So I heard with this new moon, though, not necessarily about manifesting, but about surrendering and going with the flow. Is that right? Like, I know new moon is manifesting, which is how I phrased my newsletter. So if you want to hop in on the newsletter, it will be sent out tonight. You can just head to the website. It's carrieLynnShellhorn.com. Intuitive tips are in there. The upcoming guests for the month. So all the guests and their links, where to find them and what they've got going on are there, and the events. And there's lots of fun stuff. Like this year has just been, I'm honestly pinching myself. There's so many great things that are coming up that I can't wait to share. So there's a little tidbits in that. Yeah. So it's called Carrie Lynn's Porch News. If you follow me on social media, you know that I sit out every morning with my coffee cup and post a little blurb to get us started and think about during the day. And I have an intuitive mentoring group on social media as well too. And it's called Carrie Lynn's Morning Porch because, you know, that's what we do on the porch. We hang out and chin wag and share information and learn and grow together, right? So it felt like a natural extension from that. To surrender. Yeah, so many synchronicities are happening right now. Pisces energy is intuition going deep. I know this may sound, I don't know. I always feel like I start something and as a squirrel on Red Bull, and then I remember to pause after I've already started, and then I feel bad that I've already stepped into the big pile of poo, so I might as well just keep into it and keep going. Inspirational blurbs we love. Thank you, Michelle. When people, so I've had the Dining with the Dead season has started. So I had 2 Dining with the Deads this week. I've had a couple of new venues that I'm going to be doing Dining with the Dead events with that I just am firming up those dates, and I'll be able to tell you I'm super stoked about them. And so people will ask me if it was a good event. Was it a good event? And I mean, every event is what it is. It's hard to say good or bad, right? There's messages that are hitting home to everybody. They're powerful. Sometimes they're heavy. Sometimes they're light. Sometimes there's humor in it. I can be humorous sometimes. Toot. Not always, but sometimes. But the last 2 events, if it's Pisces energy and intuition and going deep, I don't even, it is like, bang, 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 powerhouse. And while people are eating their dinner, I try to get spirits in a queue, right? And they are lining up right behind their folks while they're eating. So it looks like 3D night vision in my head. So I'm knowing exactly where I'm needing to go with everybody. And it's crazy. It was so fast packed. And names, I don't know, if you are a medium and working, names tend to be the holy grail for the receiver ends, and names have been crazy with the events this week. Crazy. And then I'm starving after. And please don't give me a hard time, but meat eater. So I need that like grounding after. So I'm glad that the one venue sent me home with food, because clearly they saw that I was going to be starving after. But I could eat a Baconator with no guilt. Probably 2, because I'm so freaking hungry after. Hi, Howie. This is going to be an energized show. I agree. Thank you so much. And I saw that you had Kat on. I don't know if it was last week or the week before. So if you missed, Howie Odell is the director of the Rift Nation Network. He has the Orion Effect with Rhonda Harris on Sunday evenings. And my guest tonight is a fellow UPRN host. She is host of and I was joking about this earlier, and I was about to do it again. I am like the Paranormal Heart, and it's Paranormal Heart Podcast. But I add that to it with much reverence, like, oh. So let's bring Kat Ward out.
Hey.
Hi, how are you doing?
I'm doing great. How are you doing?
I'm good. Thank you. Thank you for agreeing to come on. I was so excited when I sent that email. I was like holding my breath, waiting to see if you would have the time and the energy and the space to come hang out.
I was super excited. I even messaged Michelle and said, oh my God, I got in it, because it's only been the past year and a half or so that I've been actually on the other side of the mic doing shows. So people, since I've been with the network, a lot more people have been asking me to be on, and it's a great family with the network. And so yeah. I'm super excited. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. And that's the part that I love too. Well, I have known Michelle for such a long time. So Michelle DeRoche, the host of The Outer Realm with Amelia Pisano, is our network manager, and we had met many years ago. And I think a lot of us hosts are here because of Michelle and that connection. And not that we don't love Joe. We all love Joe, who is the owner, Joe Montoya.
Yes. Thank you, Joe.
Thank you, Joe. Yeah, so it's fun when we all get to hang out and be together, right?
Definitely.
I think that in my head, I feel like Michelle would be watching over us like a mama. Like proud that we're all playing nice in the sandbox and hanging out.
She's a little mother. She's a mother duck, and we're all the little ducklings.
Yeah. Exactly.
I have to say Heidi, a couple of things. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, Heidi was just saying that she loves Kat and is saying hello. And I first saw Kat when she had Michelle on. Oh, that's great. Thank you for sharing that, Heidi. Bigfoot Banter. Hello, Richie B. So Bigfoot Banter with Richie B on Saturdays with Wojo. Heidi Goal is helping them out. Sam from Sam's Pretty Paranormal is helping produce their show as well too. All have been on the show, so if you've missed them, please, you can head to the Spirit Switchboard YouTube channel, or head to uprntalkradio.com. You can find all the shows there and all of the archives for all of the shows that are there.
Yes. So say hi to everyone in the chat. I see some familiar names, and I see some other people that I haven't met yet. It's really nice to have you here in the chat. Thank you so much.
For those, I didn't even list off all the hats that you wear or all the things that you do. So would you mind taking, just a few minutes and introducing yourself to
Sure.
all of our guests?
Before I do that, I just want to say how much I love your laugh. It's an amazing laugh. I love it. And you have to have the squirrel on Red Bull as your mascot.
Yes. Maybe I need to talk to Richie about who made his logo, so they can do a squirrel on Red Bull for me. Let's get your banner up here too, so they can find you.
So I'm originally from New Brunswick. It's on the east coast of Canada, a little province there. Born and raised, moved to Ontario, started out as a paranormal investigator, and I started noticing that our clients, a lot of them had kind of like a PTSD effect from the paranormal experiences that they were having. And because you'd have families that were split because somebody was having paranormal experiences and the other wasn't, and they didn't believe them, and the person having the experiences thought they were going crazy, and so they stopped
Right.
talking about it. It's not good to keep that inside too. So we would go in and we'd investigate and then tell them what we found, and then there was so much relief afterwards knowing that the person wasn't crazy, and then the spouse, significant other, would look at them as if to say, I didn't know, like, I'm sorry, I didn't believe you. So
Right.
it was nice. So then I started doing a podcast because I wanted to have a safe space so people could talk about their experiences, knowing that they're not alone. There's other people across the world having the same experiences. So I
Right.
started doing that. I don't investigate as much anymore. And I'm also narrating a book series right now. So
Yeah,
it's,
voice actor.
yeah, well, I have one book released already, working on book 2. The book is written by J.B. Coates, and it's the Obsidian Guardian novels. So book 1 is out. I'm working on book 2. So
Yeah,
yeah, it's a lot of
amazing.
fun. Yeah.
And I find voice matters, like the sound and the tone, and we resonate with certain voices, right?
Yeah.
When I was talking about Dining with the Deads earlier, the Dining with the Dead, there was a woman that I had met 20 years ago at this event, and I didn't know she was going to be there. And as I was going up the steps, she was behind me and she said my name, and I got welled up. I didn't even see her, but I knew who she was because I remembered her voice.
Oh,
And it
wow.
impacted me in such a way.
Yeah.
So even with like audiobooks, people are drawn to those voices.
Yeah, and my first book, it took me 8 months to do because I'd never done it before. I had a mentor who'd been doing audiobooks for years, and he would send me video tutorials, and every day we'd have a Skype conversation because I didn't know what I was doing. There was lots of tears.
Mm.
I'd say I can't do this, but JB is a friend of mine as well. She's also a paranormal investigator, and we'd discuss it, and I'd just talk about it with my husband, and like, yes, you can do it. And now I know what I'm doing, but you don't realize things like breath control. Like
Mm.
and I do my own editing as well. I don't just send it
Wow.
off to someone. I was learning all that at the same time, and it was really challenging. But
Yeah.
I learned to do it. But breath control, you don't think it's really a thing until you actually have to read. I'm halfway through a sentence, and all of a sudden I'm going, which I have to edit out,
Right.
and make it seem seamless.
Right.
But yeah, just little things like that, or some pronunciations. There was this one, because I speak French as well. There was this one word in the book. Um, uh, it's armoire. I still can't say it in English. It sounds like I'm going marrow. And I would send that to JB. I was like, I can't say this word. So she
Yeah.
says, just say it in French, armoire. Yeah, not a problem. So it just sounds like I'm meowing in English, but I can say it in French. But
Oh, that's fun. You make it sexy.
oh, thank you.
You just add the French in and make it sexy.
Yeah. I have to tell you though, oh my God, I am not a prude, but JB's books, so many times I would text her and say, sister, you need to go to church because there's sex scenes in there. I had to tell my parents and my in-laws, don't buy the audiobook because there's sex scenes in there that if I know that you're listening to, I'm embarrassed already. I was just like, oh my God, it's just the things that she writes in there. And
That's the test of breath control.
yeah. So what I do is
Yeah.
I finish a chapter and I send it to her so she can listen to it, because sometimes she'll say, oh, you said he instead of she, go and fix it up, but she's like,
Right.
she's like, Kat, sometimes I blushed during the sex scenes knowing that I wrote that and you're reading it. It's just like, and I'm like, yeah, but you wrote it. So
So fun. I just gonna come up to some of these. Richie, thank you very much about the laugh and getting me connected for the logo. I appreciate that. Victoria, Astrolight Paranormal, Thank you very much for being here. Hi, Lois. Sam's pretty paranormal. I got you shared out today, Sam. Sam just dropped her Sam After Dark latest video on YouTube. So please head to Sam's Pretty Normal and check that out. She does amazing videos, and she's helping produce Bigfoot Banter with Richie B and Wojo. Lois Clark, thank you for being here. Heidi is laughing, saying how I say rear view mirror. And Lois is just saying hi. Nice to meet you, Kat.
Nice to meet you as well.
Howie's asking you if you have ever seen Real Genius. Carolyn laughs like Jordan. He calls me Jordan. Oh, dear.
There has to be a backstory to that.
I apparently I'm Jordan from that. I laugh like Jordan. And I have Jordan moments, which is the squirrel on Red Bull moments. Sam, you're more than welcome. I'm glad that you did it. They're really fabulous. Like, you do such a great job when you're telling those stories. And I haven't watched it yet, but I'm going to after the show tonight. I'm going to grab my snacks and curl up with my doggos, and we're going to watch Sam After Dark. Okay. Maybe Jordan's based on me. The other
Let's
way
go with
around.
that.
Yeah. Yeah. In your you had experiences as a child as well too. I did too. From the time I was little, had experiences, and my kiddos had experiences. When was your first memory? What's your first, or what age were you when you had that first experience?
I was about 5, 6, 7 years old, something like that. So the town that I grew up in New Brunswick is called Dieppe. It's outside of Moncton, for those who know anything about the New Brunswick. And my parents and I don't have any siblings, but my mom's from a family of 13, so I had lots of family. So we lived on the top floor of a 3-story apartment building, and it was a really old, creepy building. Now, when we moved in, it was electric heat, but there was a time that it was heated by a coal furnace in the basement. It was a really, really old building. No elevators. You have to go up the stairs. It was, as a kid bringing up the groceries, it wasn't an issue. Now I'd probably be complaining. And my poor dad, before he bought an artificial tree, he used to have to lug up a real tree up all those flights of stairs. But so I had my first paranormal experience was with the Hat Man. So my bedroom and my parents' bedrooms were at opposite ends of the apartment building, and huge, because each floor was just one apartment. So there were really big rooms. So my room was huge. I had a walk-in closet, and my dad even still says that about the night terrors that I used to have while living in that apartment building.
Wow.
I would scream, the man in my closet, the man in my closet. So they come running, and but he never took notice of me. It's almost like he was on a mission, just doing his rounds in my room.
He's got a question that we're going to ask after. Yeah.
Okay, sure. So it was just terrifying. I'd have my blankets up, just below my eyes, because I was terrified. I didn't want to breathe or move because I was afraid that he would see me. But he was the 4-foot one. He wasn't the tall one that everyone talks about now. And a little funny story, though. My father tried to, because he didn't really believe in the paranormal back then. My mom did, because she used to be able to communicate with her grandfather without even being in the same building.
That was my question after.
Yeah. So my dad took me in the walk-in closet one day and said, "See, kiddo, there's nothing here at night that's not here during the daytime," thinking, this is going to be great. No, me being me, I looked at him and said, "You mean he's here in the daytime too?" And he's just like, "Oh." Yeah. So I was afraid of my room, daytime or nighttime, for the longest time. Fast forward many, many years, I was listening to a podcast called Paratruth Radio, and their guest was talking about the Hat Man. Now, I never spoke about the Hat Man, but I never forgot about him. Always wondering who he was, why he's there, where did he come from, those kind of questions. And to know that somebody else had experienced this, but it was a tall one. So I messaged the show afterwards. And Justin, I've become good friends with both Justin and Eric now. And Justin sent me a link. He says, you have to watch this video on YouTube. I'm like, okay. So, because I told him the one that I saw was a short one. And it was this man who used to see the short hat man as a child as well. And he did a reenactment. So he dimmed the lights and he had a model and it had the bolero hat, no facial features or anything like that. And for a few seconds, that childhood terror came back because it was identical to what I used to see. And that's when I started realizing, holy crap, people are seeing these too. I'm not the only one. So to me, that's another fascinating aspect of the paranormal because people are having the same experiences. So I would love to go back to that apartment building, but it was demolished several years ago. But I still have dreams of that location. And yeah, it's just so weird.
Where do you think spirits go once a building is demolished? Do you have a thought or a theory?
That's a good question. I've never been asked that before. Geez, I'd like to think that they're still there and kind of like floating around because I do know some areas. So I live in a military community, as you know, and some of the PMQs, which is the military housing, some of the buildings had been demolished and we found out later on that these people were having paranormal experiences, but now other places next to it, like in the same vicinity, are starting to have them too. So I think it just kind of floats around.
I have always felt that they seek out the next bright light and glob on.
That makes sense. Yep.
Yeah, Rob, hey,
Rob.
Yes. Rob Goutreau, medium, author, paranormal investigator. Good question. I've learned what happens to them. Would you like comment and share? Because I would love to hear. And you said, was it Eric and Justin? Eric and
Justin, yeah. They are also in UPRN.
Yes, you did New Year's Eve or New Year's show with them. Yeah, it was brilliant. And I'm working my way to all the hosts. So you just warn them.
Oh, she's coming for you.
Yeah.
Now, Rob, he's a dear friend of mine, and he is a scientist. He's retired now, but he spoke about it on my show before. How it's like on a scientific point of view, where what happens to spirits. It was
energy. What happens to that energy?
Yes.
Rob is sharing they go into the next closest structure because they act as they were living. Yeah. That's what I've always said. So sometimes when I've had to go places, I'll bring a hat and stick it on after and just go, doors closed today. Going home now. Not invited. Thank you for sharing. So they seek shelter. Shelter and food. Do you think food? Because, they certainly can. Yep. Yeah, I totally have had that where I've had to, I don't claim to clear because I think I don't want to say that we can completely clear because we don't know what a family is going to do after what they bring in because other things there's lots of variables to all of that. But I have gone in to help cross spirits over tunnels, hospital on the property before the houses were built, like lots of reasons why. But I agree with that. Rob is sharing that's how new homes can become haunted. I appreciate you being here and chiming in.
Thank you, Rob. Yeah, I've worked at a location where it was haunted. I don't want to mention where it was because I don't have their permission. But it's a business and there was nothing that was built there before. It was just trees and it's haunted. And people would say, how? There was nothing here before. And it's like, yeah, but what happened on the land before it was built? I mean,
Yeah.
there could have been something horrific that happened and the spirits are still there, or they come over, from other locations that are close by. Or
And
just people.
layered.
Yes.
Layered. The people that work there, the furniture that's been brought,
Yep.
like there's just all kinds of different potential reasons, right?
Yep.
And you could have 5 mediums in the same place picking up on all the different layers to it.
Yes. Yep. That's
So,
interesting.
I want to come up to Howie's question. He had asked earlier, his question for tonight, Kat, have you ever had a paranormal or spiritual experience or weirdness involving owls? About an owl, involving an owl.
No, I
Owl.
have not, but I absolutely adore owls. There's just something about them. Like, I have a few tattoos. Generally, they're pretty much ancient Egyptian, but I want to get an owl one. But no, I absolutely love owls, though. That's funny that you mentioned that.
No, it's not funny. It's really not.
Okay, what's going on with that?
There is a theory to it, and I know exactly where he's going with it, and I know I can hear him snickering in the background.
Yeah.
Because he knew that you were going to say that. So there is a connection with owls and aliens.
I didn't know that.
Oh, we'll chat.
First time hearing that. Wow.
We will have a chat. We will have a chat about that. Maybe we'll need to do a whole other show with us owl folks.
Yeah. I take it you like owls too?
Yes. And definitely have some new understanding. I knew you were laughing. I knew how I was laughing. Yeah, there's a connection to owls and aliens, UFOs, experiencers, remembering, not remembering, having memories or odd things with owls or memories attached to owls that could be an illusion, like a memory that's put in place there, and connections through, and which I learned through Joe when Joe was on the show too, like through the moms, and a lot of moms that have that love of owls and collect owl things, because that connection with aliens runs generationally because they monitor that family structure, and most of us are intuitive.
Yep. That's interesting. I need to delve into this to find out more.
Be ready. I did a lot of emotional eating last summer while I was deep diving.
Thanks so much, Mr. Odell. I'm going to be going down the rabbit hole now.
Yes, you will. I'm not. I may not be remembering correctly. I think it's called The Messengers. How am I correct? Mike Connell, The Messengers. Folks in the chat. I'm pretty sure that's what it is. That would be your first start. Yes. Okay. Thank you. Yes. Thank you. That's where I would start.
Okay. Cool. I've always had a fascination with ancient Egypt ever since I was like 7.
Me too.
And owls. I don't know why.
Me too.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. And when I had my realization, I had shared with Howie shared, so we had this little bonding moment, and then I was texting my siblings going, hey, do you remember the not aliens, my brother had the alien experience that he remembers.
Wow.
Or the UAP experience, but when I messaged them, I'm like, do you remember the owls? And my mom didn't, but my siblings did, and we had a very weird experience with 3.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
And it's 3. You and 2 siblings, or you and 3 siblings?
2.
So the magic number 3.
Yes. I was born at 3:33. Magic number 3.
Oh, wow.
You're welcome, Howie. Do you feel Like that sensitivity as a kid, we shift and change, like it's always kind of there in the background, right?
Oh, can you hold on that thought just for a sec? Sorry.
Yeah.
I can't. I'll let you come in. Okay. Sorry. Someone needs to enter the room to grab something. Of course.
It's all good. It is all good. Sam is sharing with us as well too. I love Egyptian stuff. Fun fact, I got asked if I was Egyptian in 6th grade.
No way. How cool is that?
Yeah, some past life stuff happening there. I said no, native yes, Egyptian nada.
Maybe in a past life. I had the opportunity to go see the King Tut exhibit in Toronto when it was here years ago. And I met Dr. Zaya Hawass, who gave a talk. Who gave a talk afterwards. And a friend of mine was that came with us because my husband was on tour then. He's military, and the kids were just wee. So, and my youngest is just like a whirlwind. So at the time, so I couldn't have let him into where there's artifacts, right? So my friend came with us, and then we went for supper. Then we took in the lecture by Dr. Hawass, and then there was a book signing afterwards. And people are just putting stuff in front of him, and he's just signing, not even talking to people. And I just said, "Thank you, doctor. It's a great honor to meet you." And he looked up and said, "Thank you very much for being here." Right back to the, and I got a picture of my daughter, myself, and him, and I was just like, he's like a rock star for ancient Egypt. It's just like, it was,
Is he not coming back this summer or this fall?
He is, yeah, and I really want to go, but the tickets are so expensive.
Oh my gosh, I know, because I was like, I stuck it in my cart, and I'm like, can I do it? I really want to, though. I just really want to. So now I'm in a manifesting mode. Maybe I'll manifest too, and we'll meet.
Yeah, we'll go together. Yeah, we'll go together.
We're new moon energy surfing, and we're going to manifest the tickets to do the Egyptian thing in Toronto. Yep. Okay. We're on it.
Or maybe Dr. Hawass is watching this and he'll send us tickets.
Yeah.
Highly unlikely.
Podcast.
Yeah.
Hi, Michelle Wilfong. I see the King Tut exhibit 2017-ish. It was interesting. I agree. James, the Wiz is here. Wizard Radio FM. I'm glad that you are commenting from your channel so people can find you. We just went down the rabbit hole, right? So yeah. we kind of went sideways. Okay, so where I was going was, when we're energetically sensitive as kids and we're having those experiences, we know that we need to fit in. So we kind of dull our light down and we shove it where it needs to go in order to be normal-ish, whatever that means in school. Did it stay hidden very well for you, or did it stay and surface? Because moving into having children really kicked it into gear for me, and then doing paranormal investigations. At that time, I was doing this full time at that point. But how was that journey for you?
Kind of up and down. There was other instances when I was little. My parents and I used to just go for drives in the summertime. We used to go to Nova Scotia, and we went to this place called Fort Louisbourg. It was built in the 1800s, and we were in this one building. It was getting ready to be closing time, and we had a tour guide with us, and it was just the four of us, my parents, myself, and the tour guide. They were renovating the building that we were in, and as the tour guide's telling my parents about the building and all that, I could hear footsteps down the hall, and I'm looking and starting to walk away. And the tour guide said, "Where are you going?" I said, "I hear footsteps down the hall." And she says, "Oh, it's probably our ghost hoping to deter me." No, I'm like, ghost?
Yes.
I'm not even 10 yet. I was just like so fascinated. And they're like, no, you can't go down there. It's dangerous. It's under construction, But I was fascinated. She says, yeah, 'cause there's nobody else in the building except for the four of us. All the construction workers are gone. So yeah, you probably heard footsteps because it was like a booted footsteps. Yeah. And I was fascinated. So just little things like that would happen throughout my life, and it would come and go. And I find now as I'm older, they say that when you do paranormal investigations that it ramps up, but for me, I found it slowed down a bit.
Interesting.
I don't have the same, like my kids are sensitive as well. My son doesn't want to have anything to do with it. He's more religious background. My daughter and I are more spiritual. And, I was born French Roman Catholic. So for me to be spiritual, that was it could be a little tough, but yeah, it's just, I'm glad my kids got it.
It's so funny because I had a place where I was working out of had that community, their Catholic community complained that I was there.
Wow.
In protest, which was shocking to me, right? In the day and age that we were in, they were in definitely in fear mode. But where I live, I've been asked by the Catholic high school committee to donate sessions for fundraisers.
Oh, wow.
I really do think, and like large, very different religious backgrounds that have sessions, right? So I tend to be that secret for a lot of people, but there's belief in those things in those religions, like even with Catholic. And I don't know, churches are beautiful, and the rituals with many religions are beautiful as well too. So
I've actually had family members tell me and my kids that we're going to go to hell because we don't go to church. And they're like, we want to see you on the other side. And, you should not be investigating the paranormal. And then I tell them, look, I know archbishops and sisters who do this as well.
Yeah.
And then they're like, what? I'm like, yes, they're friends of mine. Like, they've been on my show. And they're like, oh. So it's like, stop talking.
Yeah. Yeah. Jill Jackson was on last week. She was my guest last week, and she was raised Baptist.
Oh.
That's what I said.
Yeah.
Thank you, Riff Nation Network. We support Riff Nation Network and all our friends and hosts that are over there.
Riff Nation Network. Whoop, whoop.
That's right. And you guys, so Riff Nation has a lot of new things happening this week as well too. There's new shows, new hosts, and they have a lot of stuff that is quite exciting. So please make sure that you subscribe to their network and follow along. Thank you so much for popping by and showing support.
Riff Nation's always good for the support.
Sam is sharing, I know that feeling too. Oh man, I know that feeling too. I'm Christian faith, but I feel like God gives gifts for positive work. Exactly. So I think that I've shared it. I don't know where I've shared this story, but I know that I've shared it at some point. Probably a live event somewhere. So yeah, I had a date with this guy who we could banter really well. And so we were texting back and forth. And when we connected in person, the only reason why we connected in person was so that he could tell me I was doing the devil's work, because he was like super religious. So all of that stuff was just to meet in person to let me know. Like he said, I don't think that you are consciously aware that you're doing the devil's work, but you're going to hell. Oh dear.
Thanks. Wow. Yeah.
Thanks for letting me know. I hope you're praying for me, is what I said.
Oh, I like that response.
Yeah, I hope you're praying for me. The banter was good, and I appreciate it. That was fun. So crazy. Yes, agreed, Contessa. She's just sharing it's crazy because Catholics have exorcism priests, and it comes from the Vatican.
Yep.
Oh, Jody, hello. Jody is my paranormal investigation bestie.
Oh, hi, Jody. So many people in the chat. I love this. That's the downside about doing pre-recorded for me. Is I don't get the chat. I've only done live twice, and the chat was great. But because I do pre-records, I don't get the conversations with listeners, and I
Oh, but
actually like.
they're listening to the show because they
Yes.
all know you and love you and support
Aw,
you. So
thank you.
recorded or not, maybe that's just part of why they're all showing up, so that they get that opportunity when they can, right? To have that
Yeah,
live interaction with you. So I'm glad that we can make it work today.
me too. Once I retire, I plan on doing more lives, but not yet.
Can you talk about, because I didn't know about this group. Can you talk about the paranormal group that you investigated with?
Oh, yeah, it's called Canadian Supernatural Research Society. It's a mouthful. It's out of the Ottawa Valley here. The founder is Katie Turner. We first started out with 7 or 9 people, and then it just kind of dwindled over the years. The first time I met Katie was our first posting here to the Ottawa Valley, and a friend of mine knew I was into the paranormal and said she saw on Facebook a lady's looking to start a team, and I know you're into that. So I'm like, yeah, sure. So we were having they were having a meet and greet at one of the Tim Hortons here, one of the coffee shops, and I told my husband, I said, yeah, I'm going to go meet this group. And he says, what if they're a bunch of wingnuts? I'm like, well, then I'll say thank you for the coffee. Nice meeting you. See you later,
As long as they're the right kind of wingnuts.
Yes, yes. So after there for a couple of hours, I decided I lovingly call them wingnuts, but I love them, and I joined the team and didn't really know what I was doing, but you learn, and I've been with them ever since. And there's April that's on the team as well, and oh my God, I'm so sorry, ladies, I'm forgetting everyone's names. Liz, and then there's a new lady, and I can't remember her name. I haven't met her yet. Just seems whenever they get a chance to go on investigations, I have to work. And yeah, so it's so difficult because I work evening shifts, and it's just difficult. So I haven't met that lady yet, but I hope to eventually. But
yeah, it's hard with schedules.
It is, yeah.
Mhm.
Great bunch of ladies. Everybody works well together. I mean, everybody has their own abilities, and it's so funny because April, she'll take hundreds of pictures. She just goes off on her own and just takes pictures. And there was this one investigation that we did. It was a friend of one of the team members. So we went to this person's house, and April doing what she does. She's taking a whole bunch of pictures, and then she stands behind me and the client and just goes, boo. I thought that client was gonna jump out of her skin, like, she was terrified, and everybody started laughing afterwards. Then she goes, "I have to go outside for a smoke." It's just like she was all, and April's like, "I'm so sorry, I didn't realize that you were gonna react that way," but she was so on edge, and she was part of the investigation as well, right? So, she was a little on edge, but she laughed about it after, but, oh, jeepers, you never know where she's gonna show up.
Did you have preconceived ideas or thoughts about what investigations were going to look like? And what did you learn from the reality of what an investigation turned out to be?
I kind of did because my husband and I used to watch every Friday night, Most Haunted over in the UK. Love those shows, but I always knew it wasn't, hey, Mart. Oh, yeah, that's right. So I knew it wasn't exactly like on TV because it is for entertainment. They do have a business. And it used to irritate me when they'd say, did you see that? And I'm like, no, the camera was on your face, not on what you wanted us to see. It's like, so frustrating. So I had a little bit of knowledge what it was, but absolutely loved doing it. Who goes into a dark building looking for ghosts? It's crazy. Yeah, right.
What part? And it's definitely that adrenaline rush that's to it. But what aspect are you most pulled to?
Because
is there an aspect of it you're most pulled to?
Because I can sense things, and when I have validation from the equipment of what I'm sensing, is just amazing. The very first investigation we did was this older gentleman. He was 94 at the time. And there was the main bedroom and then the spare bedroom. So Katie and I were in the main bedroom and everybody else was in the other bedroom doing their thing. And asked the usual questions. If you're here, knock on the wall. And we heard knocks. And I'm thinking, okay, well, maybe it was the team messing with us. So we asked again, could you knock? Well, it came from the other end of the bedroom compared to where the team was. And it's like, okay, they knocked. And then we asked for a specific number of knocks and we get it. Katie and I were just giddy, like kids in a candy shop. We're so excited. I mean, to have something like that happen is just amazing. And a lot of people are like, I don't know how you can do that. It's so terrifying. I'm like, no, we're trying to communicate, see what's on the other side. And when you get a response, whether it's a knock or something on an ovulus or EMF detector or whatever, it's just amazing and so exciting.
And if it's residential, a lot of times they are so relieved that somebody is actually engaging with them.
Mm-hmm.
So that we can help and do whatever is necessary. Could you talk about, was it mostly residential or how you would approach residential investigations?
Yeah, it was mainly residentials. We did some businesses, but it's mainly residential. There was this one location that we did. They were so sure it was something evil in their house. It was their house that they were renting. They got pushed down the stairs. Their little girl, I don't know if she was 2 or 3. She was just little. She would get knocked over. Something was playing with her toys. So we went in and did the investigation. And then after a while, I asked the people, because you started getting a sense of what energy is there, what kind of spirit is there. And I asked them, I said, when you get pushed down the stairs, where on your body do you feel that? Like, are they coming up to your back and pushing you? Like, where? And they said their legs. And I'm like, I said, kind of like a dog brushing up against you when you're going up and down the stairs. And they're just like, come to think of it, yeah. Come to find out that April is also our historian. So she would do some research. She found out that that house had a fire, I don't remember how many years prior, and a woman and her dog had passed away in the home. The dog seemed to still be there and was playing with the little girl and playing with her balls and her toys. So they were just like, so it's nothing evil? It's like, no, it's nothing evil. You have a dog. What would you like us to do? Do you want us to, get rid of it or what? We did sage the place, but saging, like Katie says, it's like sweeping your floors. You can't just do it once and then that's it, because you're always bringing stuff back with you. You could be at the grocery store and somebody's having a really bad day and that negative energy might kind of latch onto you and you're bringing that home.
And sometimes it just chills them out.
Yeah.
It just keeps them quiet for a while, right?
It does, yeah. Yeah. So I sage my home on a regular basis, especially because you can feel in the air, it starts getting heavy and people start getting a little irritated with each other. And then it's like, okay, time to sage. And then the air is so much lighter afterwards. And everybody's like, why was I angry? I'm like, probably because negative energies.
Yeah. Insomnia, literally off balance, all those sorts of things are indications that something's built up in the space, right?
Yep. Yeah. And if you have animals, watch your animals. They always know.
Yes, they do. Yes, they do. And I find they're really good, though, for grounding after, like for me.
Yeah.
Grounding after. Yep. I find I use a tuning fork a lot.
That's interesting.
When I'm working at home, like from home, I use the tuning fork more than I do, or a spray. Like I'll use a liquid smudge and that's fast. And a lot of times I have the liquid smudge in the car, especially when I'm doing the events, when I'm out places, so that the car doesn't look like it's a clam bake with the windows all rolled up.
She's hotboxing in her car.
We're just like gonna spritz it like an air freshener before I go home.
Is it sage? A liquid sage?
Pardon?
Is it a liquid sage that you use? Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Yes. It's a liquid energy clearing. I wouldn't say that. Yeah, but it definitely some are there. So there's a couple of questions. James, so the Wiz from Wizard Radio FM is asking if ever you've had a past life experience, and how far back did it send you?
I think I did when I was in my late teens. I was living with my parents and I was getting ready to go out. So I'm sitting at my dresser, putting my makeup on, doing my hair and everything. And for just a few seconds, I'm looking in the mirror and it's not myself that I'm looking at. It's this Native American. He had the long hair. He was wearing the deer skins, but he was at the side of a lake, and he was just getting a drink. And then he sees me in the water. I see him in the mirror, and we're looking at each other. So I don't know if that was myself looking at myself from the past, or if that was just something that all of a sudden we saw each other in the water and the mirror. So I still
Like
don't know
scrying.
yeah. So I don't know what the heck that was, but it like he's I'm looking at him like that, and he's looking through the water. Then he's going like this because he sees me too, and we're all just like looking at each other. But it only lasted maybe 10 seconds, and then I've never had that experience again. And it's just like, how do I recreate it? What was I doing? What was I thinking? Like, it was amazing.
But yeah, it sounds beautiful and
Yeah,
comforting. Not
yeah. It was not scary at all. Just surprised. All of a sudden, I'm not seeing myself. I'm seeing this other person, and it's like, what is going on?
People, when they ask about past life stuff, I don't dig around past life stuff, and I know that I've shared this before. It scares me, so I just assume
Really?
that I have been all genders, good, bad, tall, short, heavy, thin, nasty, and good. Like, I just assume I've been all of it, right? And then pay attention where the patterns show up. But I don't go digging.
I firmly believe I was an Egyptian in a past life because I have this connection to ancient Egypt. And when I did see the mummies at the King Tut exhibit, I was like, my nose is almost on the plexiglass looking at the mummies and all the other artifacts. I was so fascinated. It was, and I felt like I was home, which was really weird.
Interesting, right? And I think our soul, our spirit recognizes when we are in places that we've been before. Like that soul remembrance, I think that we resonate with the frequency, and it triggers, because there's definitely places that I've been where that has happened for me. Rob, I do see your question. There's just one before you that I'm going to get to first, and then I'm going to come to you. Contessa Martins is asking, have spirits ever told you what it's like on the other side, and with any description?
Not for me, no. When we do the investigations, we get very limited responses. Maybe the other team members had been told what it was like on the other side, but actually, I think there was one time they said it was dark. That's all we got. But no, I haven't really. It's just, I don't know if it's because there's too many people doing the investigations and the message isn't coming clearly on the devices, but not really, no. Not for lack of asking.
I've always felt that sometimes it's best to ask if we have permission to ask those questions. Maybe they don't want to ask those questions or to answer those questions, or we don't have permission to know. I think that some stuff is left for us to be able to experience after we die. That there's pieces that are always going to be a mystery for that reason.
We have had, I just lost my train of thought. What the heck was I going to ask? My train derailed. It'll come back. Oh, yeah. So when we do investigations, we're always respectful. We don't antagonize, because you don't want to anger something that you really can't see. Like, it's not wise. So we always introduce ourselves, hi, my name's Kat. We're here to speak with you if you want to, so we always ask permission, like in the beginning. So.
Yeah, I still, because even asking in the beginning, I think with investigations different. Oh, is that your Paranormal Heart mug? Turn around so everyone can see. Listen to me be all bossy.
So this is an older one. I just released some newer ones. if anyone's interested, just look at my social media. Yeah.
It's awesome because you've got all the different colors too.
Yeah.
I love the mug. So my friend Richard actually sent this to me. He got it made for me with like the Spirit
I
Switchboard
love
mug.
your mug. Yeah, I saw that.
so
That's amazing.
When I teach the connecting with your guides, I always call it Who's Your Bob. So he put on the back, if at first you don't succeed, try doing what Bob told you to do the first time.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And you're right, James. Thank you very much for reminding me that we're just going to pause for a quick second so we can do the station ID. So if you are just joining us, thank you very much for being here. If you are new here, I appreciate you dropping by and spending time with us to check out Spirit Switchboard. So you are listening to Spirit Switchboard. I am your host, Carrie Lynn Shellhorn, and you are listening to us live on the United Public Radio Network and the UFO Paranormal Radio Network, 105.3 in the Gulf Coast and 107.7 FM out of New Orleans. And if you are interested in any of the shows, because the range of topics and shows is quite broad, so please head to UPRNtalkradio.com to see all the different amazing hosts and shows, and archives are all there. So today's guest is fellow UPRN host Kat Ward of Paranormal Heart Podcast. I just messed that all up because I was going to do so my Canadian friends, I was joking with Kat before the show. I said, do you say I'm going to Shoppers, which is the drugstore here, the pharmacy? Yeah. Or do you say I'm going to the Shoppers? Because my family, we all say the Shoppers. We're going to the Shoppers.
It's just like some people say I'm going to the Costco instead of Costco. And it's like,
yeah. And I have been saying the Paranormal Heart Podcast all week.
It's okay. It's okay.
Okay. So I want to run up. Okay, hang on. Sam. So Sam is sharing, I used to think that I was a Native girl in a past life, but I figured out there was actually maybe me connecting to a girl ancestor in my family. Haven't dove into that more, but would love to. I think that's a brilliant, because they're probably waiting for you to do that. Mm-hmm. How are you saying yes, yes, yes to the Egyptian connection? Every year I did like my speech. You know how you have to do those speeches in school? The orals. Yeah. About Egypt. Contessa, I just want to chime in with your question about what it's like on the other side in any description. I would say yes, most spirits will show me where they are at and what it's like. And I have not had one spirit show me that there are pearly gates and a judger person at waiting for them. But I have seen different places like libraries, and every spirit has shown me what their heaven space looks like. And it's all different.
That makes me think now. Sometimes I get images popping into my head. I'm just wondering, maybe it's spirits telling me what it's like where they are. I never even thought of that.
I would think so.
How have I never thought of that before now?
That's why we do this. Play nice in the sandbox, and everybody learns. Like, it's a community, right? So
definitely.
Howie, I'm sorry, folks, there's so many. Howie is saying, one of my past life regression had me as some form of a priest in a channel hallway walking to a temple. That doesn't surprise me for sure. I just want to get up to Rob's comment. Rob Gutro is sharing, have either of you used dowsing rods? My paranormal partner used them on the last 2 investigations. I had never seen them used before, and it was amazing.
I have.
And what's your experience like?
It was pretty cool. It was something that Katie had brought. I think she made them actually. And she used it during the investigation, and I couldn't believe how they were moving. And I'm like, okay, I got to try this. Like I love you and I trust you, but are you making it do that? Come on, So no, here. And I couldn't believe, like, you could actually feel like energy in them, and they're moving. It's just I was so blown away.
Yeah.
I've only used them maybe 3 times.
I love dowsing rods. Love them, love them, love them. And when I teach divination tools to people, dowsing rods are part of it. I have taught kids to use dowsing rods and made them dowsing rods using coat hangers, just cutting up coat hangers. Like, you don't have to spend a lot of money on paranormal equipment, folks. Like,
Exactly, yeah.
you don't. And so it's so funny, Rob, that you asked that question, because I was thinking about it today. So maybe I intuitively was picking up that was going to come up. So I got these new ones, these new dowsing rods. I love my dowsing rods. So these new ones light up with LED lights.
That's cool. Colors?
Yeah, the little kid in me, just like, it's always the Star Wars sound. I'm like, I've just opened up my lightsaber. I'll show you really quick. I had ordered them last summer and they didn't come, and I was really frustrated, but I had an opportunity to hang out with the Snipe team here in Canada, and Todd had his with him. So then I ordered them, and it's the best thing I've ever done. And I use my dowsing rods for everything because, I'm perimenopausal and all of that fun stuff. And I'll use them to find my glasses and my keys. Check those out. Watch, folks.
I kind of wish they did the lightsaber sound effects.
Right? So what was fun about these, because I did a live with them, was when I asked them, I should have made one. I was going to center for a second about breath control, right? But you can teach people about energy. So when I use them to teach kids, I make them shoot that positive vibe out and then separate from each other. And they'll go clear across like a huge room and can make them cross by sending love out, right? And when you teach them to pull their energy back into their center, then the rods will go back out like that. So when they're lit up like that, you can do like yeses and nos, right? Using this color for yes and this color for no. And it's just it's fun. And so we're doing an investigation, Jody and myself and our friend Tina, soon. And I can't wait to use them, because we do a lot of investigations at Pioneer cemeteries at nighttime. And I thought that would be perfect, right?
Yeah.
But I'm glad that you had a positive experience with the dowsing rods, and I learned too that my great grandfather, who was intuitive and used to read tea leaves and stuff, he used to witch spells for people.
Yeah, so, one of my mother's, was it grandmother or grandfather? I think it was grandmother, used to use the dowsing rods too.
Yeah, it's wonderful. Yeah. And I mean, when you purchase them, you get that copper tube that's outside of the rod. So there's just no way. I think what happens for people is they hold their breath so tight that they're affecting it. So there really is the breath control. It affects everything. The breath control affects your intuition and your ability to receive and all of that. It's all about breath.
Getting back to the energy thing there, I have a lot of people that have said something about, really, you can sense the energies. Come on now. And I tell them, have you ever been close to an electric fence? And they're like, yeah. So what happens when you get closer? Well, you feel and then they stop. It's like, because I realize, okay, I'll be quiet now. I'm just like, yeah, there you go.
Yeah. And even frequencies, right? Like, how can you hear something? And I'm like, dogs hear the whistle.
Yep.
It's a frequency. We're just dialed different. We're just dialed different. Sorry, I'm so. So Rob is sharing, I've learned the other side is all energy. The spirits convey earthly images so we can understand, because humans can't understand what it's like to be energy with a consciousness. So do you, is that your experience too, Kat? I mean, I agree with you, but I also have had experience where it shifts and changes for me.
Yeah, I'm just agreeing with what he was saying. So I got to read that again, because humans can't. Yeah. Whenever I hear people talking about energy and consciousness, I'm such a nerd. I keep thinking of the Star Trek Next Generation episode. do you know which one I'm going to talk about? Where
Yeah, it's okay, keep going.
yeah, where his people are after him and he doesn't know what's going on, and all of a sudden, poof, he just turns into energy.
Yes.
He evolved. So I think of that often.
Yeah. And there was Jordan. You're all welcome. So Rob, my experience when I'm working, when I'm doing sessions for people, because it's been my full-time job working as a medium, right? For like 18 years. It's my full-time job. So I find the first maybe 1 or 2 times that I have a client and their people are coming through, the first time for sure, the first session, my body feels like it's physically shifting and changing. Like I'm 6'2" and I got a tooth missing and I can feel where their cancer started. So there's that. But as they show me the healing that has happened for them on the other side and they've raised their frequency, they come in as light. They come in expansive with no physical form after maybe the second time.
That's interesting.
And then usually people don't always have like a whole bunch of repeated. There's a few people that do, but for the most part, after that part, I'm teaching them how to connect in so they don't need me. The kumbaya in the sandbox, right? I think these dowsing rods are the best too. I love them. And Jody, I can't wait for you to try them. But look at, like, they've got a little. Oh, my Lanta! They've got
excited because you're excited.
So you can like hang it off your belt.
That's so cool.
So they're not little. Like I normally keep little tiny ones because I don't want to have a lot of like, I don't know. I used to bring a lot of stuff, and now I just don't have the energy to. But I think these are going to be great. And great when you're filming at nighttime too, right? Like you. So Rob is sharing, yes, that's why living dogs and cats can hear and see earthbound ghosts and spirits. They hear at frequencies that ghost spirits speak at, and we use digital recorders to pick them up.
And they also pick up on infrasound, like when a storm is approaching, and Rob can probably, because that was his field before, when the storm is arriving, there's the infrasound that's ahead of the wind, and all that. So a lot of times when animals, especially dogs, if they're really uncomfortable because there's a storm coming, even before we know it's coming, it's because that's what they're sensing. And infrasound can have a really nasty effect on any living creature's body.
Yes. And so then that's, Sam, I'm not, if you're still in the chat, maybe you can chime in, because I know that Wojo and Richie have talked about infrasound during Sasquatch investigations and being hit with that and feeling very sick with it. So getting that blast beforehand, like the "don't come here, we don't want you around," to knock them out, right? Please chime in, people in the chat as well too. Contessa Martin's asking, can't all animals see and sense spirits? I don't, I don't know. I think it's, again, different frequencies. I mean, all my pets have, but sometimes Nora will, who is my Chihuahua pug, she will stand near the kitchen door with her hackles up and growling at something, and Bruce just stays sleeping like he don't care. And he's my bulldog, Sharpei.
Yeah.
Yeah, horses definitely do. Jody is sharing. I know Richie got blasted not that long ago with the infrasound.
Really?
Mm-hmm. Or they think, he's pretty sure that's what it what it was. Rob is sharing, yes, they can. They have different cones and rods in their eyes that enable to see faster movement that spirits and ghosts move at. Now, I've had the naysayers say, that they are extra sensitive, that they could be picking up at a dog that's barking 2 blocks down, or, you know, that we are projecting what we're wanting it to be as well too. And I'm like, not many people are projecting that they want something being growled at in their kitchen.
Well, yeah.
And
then there's people like Michelle, she's getting growled at and she'll say, not tonight. And then
I know. Though that's kind of where I've grown into, like, because you grow with the more experiences you have, and the maturity gets there, right? Rob, if you want to share that in the chat, please do. Rob is sharing, I wrote a Pets and the Afterlife series explaining all the science about it. Please share. And you could also email the link, or I can stick it on my social media as well too, so people can find it. But please stick it in the chat comments as well too, so people can find it.
Yeah, like I said, Rob's a dear friend, and I've had him on the show a few times now, and he has helped me out a great deal when I had pets that passed. I had a dog that passed a few years ago, Molly. She was a black lab, and she used to always, in the living room, curl up underneath the table in the living room. We had an area rug there, and after she had passed, we also had a motion light underneath the kitchen cupboard, so it was motion activated, but the cats, they're too small, they don't activate it. Right. And after Molly was gone, the light would just turn on, and you know, all the cats, all the family members were all in one room, and it's like, what? And then there was one time my orange tabby, who's 17 now, he was sleeping on that spot where Molly was, and all of a sudden he gets up, his hair is all like, he's all fluffy, he's hissing, he's growling, he runs down the hall, then he comes back and he's looking at that spot where he just was. And then I had messaged Rob, I'm like, was that Molly? And he's like, yeah, she's still around. So I had to, and he suggested that I tell her that it's okay, that she can pass, we're okay now, that she doesn't have to watch over us.
Do you find with having that support, it's helping you, or validating that you're kind of feeling it, so there's more confidence in opening up to your personal experience as well too? And Rob, I appreciate that you're not taking away from Kat by, you know, because everyone in the chat has already heard this little tidbit, and they're all going to want to connect. I'm telling you now that everybody will want to have that piece of the puzzle of the conversation, and will appreciate that information. So you can email me privately, and we'll pick a date to have you on and chat. And if you share in the chat now, it would be great too.
Yeah, thank you for mentioning that, Rob, but you're not taking away from it. Thank you.
Yeah,
it just got me to go on to another topic.
Yes. Victoria is sharing, our cat passed away 2 years ago, and we can still hear her scratch at the basement door. Oh.
Yeah.
Pets always come through, even at like you said, like you had the dog in that residential investigation that you did.
Yeah.
Pets always are a big part, right? Pets are a big part, and energy as well too. When we were talking about investigations, you're the first guest that I've ever said, do you want to look at paranormal news headlines and maybe talk about those things? I've never done that before.
No way. That's awesome.
No, never. So it was the first time too for me to like dig around like that. Yeah. I had never done that, and I thought it would be hard. And it took me like 5 minutes, and I found all of these like crazy things.
Years ago, there was a friend of mine. He used to go by the name Arizona Tramp, and he had a show called Black Swamp Digital Radio. And he had asked me to do the weird news. He wanted me to be the weird news lady. So I would, and at the beginning of a show, I would do like little weird stories. So I love all these things.
Well, I appreciate that you were open to exploring that, and it's the weird folks unite, right? Like that we both picked the same one.
I know. You sent what, 6? And I looked at all of them. Yeah, I looked at all of them, and they were all good, but I was partial to the last one. And you're like, me too. And I'm just like, oh my God, we are connected.
Yeah. So the story that I found was CCTV footage from a pub called the Fox and the Hounds in Eckington, Derbyshire. And they have this in-house spirit that they've named Paul, who is doing all kinds of shenanigans.
Spirits in the spirit building.
Right? Let me pull that. We're just going to pull that down. And I had asked you if you had like a pub story or a pub investigation. And I've not done a pub investigation, but I've been to pubs that are haunted.
Me too.
And I did have an experience at one. The other ones I didn't have experiences at. But I wanted to pull up the video so that we can, there's 2 videos actually. See if I can do this without mucking up.
While you're doing that, there was this amazing pub when we were living in Alberta. I think it was called the Honey Pot. First time I went in, I looked at, and it looked like an old English, like British style pub. It was dark. It just had that decoration. And we sat down. I looked at my husband. I'm like, this place is haunted. And then we would just go there every once in a while and started finding out that, yeah, it was. And I really wanted to go and investigate there, but I never had the opportunity.
I don't know what I just did. Okay, we're good.
I adore you. You're so funny.
Just gotta keep it real. I just get so panicky about that that I was gonna do something wrong.
Oh, there it is.
Just to breathe. Breath work. Okay, folks. So this is the one that was part of the article, I believe. See that glass fall? Watch behind her head.
I think I'll take my chance.
Wow. That's so cool.
So if we naysay it, we don't know if there's a train, if they're like behind a train track, if there's like, if they're on a hill with big transports that, you know, on a bumpy road. What else could it be? Bathroom on the other side with angry.
Yeah. If there's stairs, maybe people are going up and down the stairs and maybe that photo that fell, maybe the pin or the nail or whatever that was on wasn't out very much. And there's so many, like we weren't there, but that looks really cool.
Or my house, like it's like my house because if it's in England, depending on how old it is too, or just even like, because I'm a former military wife, so PMQs with plaster walls.
Oh yeah.
You can't hang anything in that stuff. Like, no. But the one with the glass, so there's a place that I do spirits and sweets out of.
Oh, cool.
And they have security footage of, it's a Scottish bakery and it's tiered. And they have a video of it and it's closed on top of their display rack. So this tiered shelving unit. And the treat came from the top shelf, went around and into the second shelf.
Oh.
In the middle of the night with nobody there.
Wow.
I don't know. I just like every time I'm there for spirits and sweets, I'm like, come on, shut the lights off. Move the jar. do something, right? I mean, the messages come through really fast, but we've not had anything. So I think that they're excited or just quiet when we're there, but they're video footage at nighttime. So there was a second one. Let's see if we can make it happen.
Do you find when you do your investigations too that one person could be holding one piece of equipment and get nothing, but then somebody else grabs it and it just won't stop?
Yeah. Yeah. I find we all have our own. Jody, if you're still in the chat, you can chime in too. Like Jody seems to really do well with EVPs. Like they seem to, if it's how she asks the question, again, if it's the frequency and tone of voice, really hits with all of that, right? So
Could be how she's feeling too, the energy that she's projecting.
yeah, something. It for sure. What did you guys think of that video? There's another one. So I'm gonna not freak out and see if we can make it happen.
I didn't even look at these videos. I just read the little thing. So this is awesome.
So I went on to their TikTok, which is the Fox_Hounds 22.
I'll have to check that out.
And you can,
Nice.
yeah, love the EVPs. So Jody does seems to really do well. So this is one that they had posted just recently. And you're going to pay attention to the right-hand side of the video.
I already was for some reason.
Middle of the night, nobody there. Or I think it was like 6 o'clock in the morning when you read the little thing. It was at 6 a.m.
Can you play that again?
Yeah.
Please. Wow.
Yeah. So they've named him Paul. So apparently he moves beer mats, knocks on walls, turns the hand dryers on in the toilets, like does all that kind of stuff.
Well, if you can do that, why not start cleaning tables and help the staff out?
Paul doesn't want to.
I guess so. That was pretty cool.
Right?
Mm.
And I don't know when it's like that at nighttime. And again, we don't know. I would have loved to see like a light anomaly at the same time and then it fall. That would have been super cool.
Yeah.
I don't know. What is evidence? What is a piece of evidence that you have captured that was like, whew,
whoa,
for you? Mish, I agree. Paul might be giving the staff something to do for sure.
Maybe, yeah.
Here, let me get rid of those things. You were talking about how validating it is when you capture things on the equipment. And that's exactly how I feel about EVPs. And it makes it exciting to go back to locations and try for more.
Yeah, because we always second guess ourselves. We always doubt ourselves. So whenever we have validation like that, it's like, oh my God, this is so cool.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Especially when you have to comb through 3 and 4 hours or more. 5, 6, 7.
And you don't just listen to it once. You got to keep going over and over. And just like, ugh.
Yeah. Because Jody, you've caught some amazing, the last few times that we've gone out, some amazing. And we're going back to a place called the Ireland House. And I'm excited to see what happens for you there. Nice. Because last time we were there, you caught some amazing stuff. Sorry, Victoria, I'm sorry that I missed that when we were talking about each person having their own things that they're pulled to, and equipment and part of investigations that we're drawn to. Oh, yeah, the piano. So there's a piano there, and she caught piano music as on the EVP.
That's so cool.
Mm-hmm. Favorite captures for you, either validating for you or where you felt it and it got validated with equipment, or a favorite story that you'd like to share?
Two of them. One of them, we were actually in a PMQ investigating, and as soon as we walked in, I looked at one of my team member, one of the guys on the team, and I said, "Get a picture of that wall." And he's like, "Okay." We hadn't even introduced ourselves to the client yet. So we go in. So I just said, "Take a picture of that wall as soon as you get a chance." So the client is telling us that his mother was babysitting his daughter, and a photo from that wall flew. It didn't just slide, it flew. So we looked at each other and we just went, "Oh my God, how did you know?" I'm like, "I don't know. I just had a feeling." It's just, it was amazing. But there was this other investigation that we did, and this woman had holy water in every room of her house. She was so freaked out, right? She had an old mirror, those oval shaped mirrors that can just flip. She had a blanket over that. She was just, plus she had an doll collection in the living room, which none of us liked. It's just like, why?
I think covering the dolls up.
Right. So we could all hear a cat meow. Like, Katie is the most talented out of everybody there, but we actually, with our own ears, we could hear a cat meowing. She had no pets. We picked it up on the on EVP as well. And there was this one point that April was sitting in the stairs doing the EVP. I had the camera, the video camera, and another person was to my right taking photos at the same time. And to me, orbs are hit and miss. But I actually saw an orb go up and then to the left through the wall. And we're just like, oh. So then when we looked at the photos behind April, we captured it. Looked like a cat that was morphing, like it was, so we're just like, oh. So whenever I show people this picture, I don't tell them what it is. I'm like, just what do you think it is? And they're like, oh, that's a cat. Yeah, because I don't want to put anything in their mind saying, this is what it is. When we showed the client, she said, "Oh my God, that's my cat that passed away a few months ago." So one of the reasons why she called us in is because activity in her house, but when she was sleeping, she could feel something by her feet and legs. And then, so we asked, "Where did your cat used to curl up?" Then she's like, "Oh," it's like, "Yeah, it's your cat that's in the house." And to me, that was the most, like, I never even thought to send you the picture. I'll have to send it to you so you could see it. But yeah, to me, like I said, when I show people, I don't say, "Yeah, look at this cat that I got." I just, well, now, but but it's never, well, I don't know. I don't know what that is. People are, no, it's like, "Oh, that looks like a cat, but it looks like it has two faces, but it's like, it's starting to morph," or I don't know. It's really cool. So that to me was like, holy cow, probably the best picture that we ever captured, in my opinion, anyways.
Yeah, that's amazing. I did not see a UFO today.
Oh, was there one? Where?
I don't know where. There's probably one all kinds of places, but not over Guelph today. Victoria is sharing. So Astrolight Paranormal is sharing. Have you ever caught an EVP in a different language? We captured an EVP in an Indigenous language at a private commercial location. That's
amazing. We had an event. It was a public investigation at the museum several years ago. This is before I joined the team. The 99 people showed up for the public investigation. You paid $20, and the team did not even anticipate that many people, so they had to split us up in 4 groups, which was amazing. So one of the ladies that was there, I know she's German, so they kept asking for EVPs, and I'm like, "Petra, ask something in German. She had been here for so many years. She had her heart, like she still has a thick German accent, but she was trying to go through her head saying, what am I going to say in German? Just put her on the spot, right? And then she had asked a question in German finally, and then there was a response, but I don't recall if it was in English or German. That part I don't remember, but I'm like, Petra, you got to ask a question in German. And it's just so cool. Like sometimes I'll, because I speak French, and if we don't get too many replies or responses, I'll just say a question in French. So,
Perfect.
Yeah. So knowing more languages, I find, is really beneficial.
Victoria, were you able to figure out what language it was, like, and what it meant? Was anybody able to help you with that? Because that would be curious. And the question leading up to that answer, or, that response.
I have to tell you something funny too. During that public investigation, so I went with a coworker of mine and her husband, and we were in this old schoolhouse. So it's a museum, but you have like an old schoolhouse, you have an old church, that just various buildings that they brought up onto the property. And we're in the schoolhouse, and everybody had a chance to ask a question while we're in the school, and they were holding various pieces of equipment just going down the line. So when my friend's husband got a chance to ask a question, and I now ask this question on investigations, everybody's like, what's your favorite food? Do you know you're dead? The usual questions that everybody's asking. Oh, not him. He's like, do you like pie? Nobody could make eye contact because we're all standing there like this because we don't want to laugh. So when we're done the investigation, I get in the vehicle because my friends picked me up. I looked at him and I said, do you like pie? And we're laughing so hard, we're crying, just crying. So now I ask that in my investigations, do you like pie?
Yeah, I think it's brilliant. Asking those kind of questions are brilliant, especially like if it's heritage, like where they were focusing on making like homemade pies or any of those sorts of things. Like if we're talking about trying to meet them where they're at, or in like treating it like we're in their space, I think it's so important. Oh no. Kat may be hitting a glitch. Mish. I'm going to say it just because it's funny. Yes. Yes. Let's see if Kat pops back in. It appears to be Algonquin Iroquois mix. Snipe is helping us with it. Oh, that's so good. Yeah, the Snipe guys are fabulous.
Hey, that was weird.
Can
you hear me now?
I can hear you.
Oh, you look frozen.
Still frozen. So we can, up to you if you want to try popping back out and popping back in, or roll with it. There we go.
Oh, hey, that was weird.
So weird things happen. So Laura Lee, I don't know if you've had a chance to meet Laura Lee Potvin. Have you had a chance to meet her?
No, actually, I don't think so.
So she has the Angel Rock on Monday evenings and the thing at the foot of the bed on Thursdays.
Nice.
With David Hansel. And she's been on a number of times, and we've had EVPs show up and light anomalies. We've had all kinds of weird stuff happen. Mm-hmm.
Mr. Odell, when I had him on the show, it took us 4 tries. One of the tries, both of us said our internet connections were strong, but we lost the internet connection. So, I'd be messaging him saying it's strong on my side, and he goes, yeah, it's strong on my side too. And I'm like, what the heck?
Yeah, weird.
Yeah.
I know. And we're not like the weather network was calling like for a major storm to hit, and we had a little bit of weirdness, icky weather earlier, but it's not storming here now. So
Yeah, my husband just texted me to say that, well, I don't know when it was because he left a while ago, but he said it's very windy outside and we're supposed to get 15 centimeters tonight. So
yes,
yeah. Yeah.
no, thank you, done.
No. I know, right?
Yeah, yeah, I'm done with it. I'm at that point of the winter.
Yeah,
And
really.
and we could still get like so yeah, you grew up in New Brunswick, so you would have had snow like forever too.
Oh,
Like the snow is crazy on
yep.
the East Coast. Like
Not so much now compared to when I was little. Oh my, the snow that we used to get back then. Holy cow.
yeah, and until May, like I have pictures of us
Oh,
getting snow in May, the beginning
yeah.
of May. Crazy,
Yeah, my
crazy.
birthday's in May, and on my birthday it would either I would have everything on my birthday. It would rain, it would snow, it would hail, it would be hot, it would be cold, all in one day. And I'm just like, how? It's like, make up your mind.
That's funny. Okay, so Rob, we're just going to catch up with some of these chats, comments. Rob Goutreau is sharing, I've had
Cool.
pets give me words in other languages, which I've had to look up. I think sometimes when that happens, it's the golden nugget in the session, or the golden nugget in the investigation that,
Yeah.
people really want that golden nugget in it. Victoria's saying, Astrolight Paranormal. I'm sorry that I keep saying Victoria, but Astrolight Paranormal. We caught it on camera when we were out of the room. That makes it even cooler.
Oh, we had an investigation once. I had just purchased motion detector, and have you ever heard them? It's ear-piercing sound when there's motion. So we had it in the basement. Lesson learned, it was the first time we used it. We didn't have a camera with it. But yeah, it's like, but the client kept telling us, yeah, there's activity over here. So I put the motion sensor there. Nobody was near that area, and they don't have pets. And all of a sudden you hear this like, ear piercing sound. And yeah, when I went to go turn it off, because I have a remote too, and the remote wasn't working for some reason. So I had to go and, I had this feeling that I didn't want to go over there to go turn it off, but I did. But yeah, paranormal investigators still do get scared. We just push through it.
The things that I'm scared of are stairs with no risers.
Oh, okay.
Like stairs that you can see through.
Yeah.
Oh,
that would be creep. Yeah.
Can't handle them. I don't do them. Talking about it, my hands are already like grossly sweating. Blech. It's no good.
When we lived in Alberta, we did this haunted house. They had the haunted house every year. It's this old, early 1900 hotel, but it's gutted now. So they would have each Halloween, they'd have a haunted house there. So the first year I just partook, we went through the house. It was amazing. 3 stories. And what they did, that because it's gutted, no wires, no plumbing, nothing. And there's pieces of floor missing. But what they did was they put plexiglass on top of it, so it's safe for people. And I didn't like nobody liked the plexiglass, because you're walking, all of a sudden it's like, I know I can walk on it, but I can see downstairs. I don't like this. Yeah, it's freaky.
The Ireland house has a plexiglass over the well, because you have to step over that well to get to the summer kitchen.
Oh, wow.
Mm-hmm.
The first time I ever heard about a summer and a winter kitchen, I have a friend just actually up the street here, and she mentioned something about her summer kitchen. I'm like, what the heck are you talking about? Yeah, she's got 2 kitchens. It's a really old house.
The stairs with the risers, there's a connection for us with that. The stairs with the risers. And how scared I am of them. You had David Owen on
Yep.
the podcast.
Yep.
So David had invited me down to investigate and check out his house.
Oh, I would love to do that.
And I did. And it was a
No
crazy
way.
experience. And the only video that you're going to find on anywhere on YouTube of me at David's house is me freaking out going up the steps, and I'm hanging on to the back of his like shirt right close to his pants. Salty swearing because I'm scared, and I'm like, you have to watch it because it sounds horrible if you're just listening and not seeing it. Slow down, stop, speed up, go faster. It doesn't sound good.
Oh my God, that's so fun.
But it's because I'm like trying to keep up with him as he's leading me up the stairs as I'm hanging on for dear life and sweating all over the back of his clothes. Yeah, it was.
I loved having David on. He was when all those fires are happening out in California, I actually messaged him. I said, "Hey, are you okay?" And he says, "Yeah, it hasn't reached here." I said, "Okay, good. Just please stay safe." But yeah, he had said if ever I wanted to go out, and I hope
very
someday I
gracious.
can.
He's very gracious in opening up his door and allowing people to experience. And I had a fabulous experience. And there's crazy stuff from as soon as you step in on every floor, and it's layered. There's so many. It's not what it's most known for. There's more to it than that.
Yep. Wow.
Way more to it than that.
Yeah, I hope I get a chance to go out sometime because I want to meet him in person too. But yeah, that would be an amazing place to go to.
Yeah, he was brilliant, and he was like, "Let me make you dinner," and
wow,
friends, and he was very lovely, and he's an animal lover, so like his dogs were all there.
Yeah. I absolutely loved when I was interviewing him, and all of a sudden he looks up, he goes, "I know, I'm getting to it." It's just like, who are you talking to, David? That was Sharon, or that was my dad, or
Yeah,
it's so funny, but yeah.
Yeah, he definitely has that connection to the spirits that are there in the house, and you can feel them moving in and out. And I'm pretty sure. So like even a compass doesn't move correctly when you're at one spot in his steps. So
interesting.
yeah, it's interesting.
Huh.
Do you have a place? So besides the Oman house, other places that are a bucket list place that you would like to see or check out?
I would just like to go. I don't know why. I just want to go to Romania and just check out. Like I've always said that if ever I came into a large sum of money, that I would get all my paranormal friends and paranormal podcasters, guests. I would get on a jet because apparently you can rent the Dracula Castle. Now I don't think that was actually his castle, but they call it Dracula's Castle. But you can actually rent it, and I would love to be able to rent it for like a week, and we could just sit, talk paranormal, do little investigations throughout the castle, see what we find. That is my dream, to do that.
So you need to have.
You froze up again. Oh no! Oh, there you go. Okay, did you get all that, or?
Yeah, I did get all that.
Okay.
Adriana Fierstro, she's got Negotiating Happiness with UPRN. And the show that Michelle had last night, she had Melissa McLennan and Adriana Fierstro, and they all went because Adriana is from Romania.
Oh.
And so they went to the Haunted Forest, they did Dracula's Castle, and that might be a great podcast for you to start picking some brains and making some travel plans, because Adriana would love that.
Oh my God, yeah. Oh yeah, like I said, I would just get like a private jet and we'd all go.
Yeah, that's brilliant. Okay, so I know that you're frozen, but we can't. We have to be mindful of the time because Jeffrey Pritchett is up next with Church of May Abyss soon. So, in the time that we have, where can people find you? When can they listen? How can they reach out to you?
Well, thank you. So the show is Paranormal Heart Podcast. I'm going to start calling it the Paranormal Heart Podcast now.
I'm so sorry.
It's okay. It's every Tuesday night at 6 p.m. Eastern. It's mainly pre-recorded, but like I mentioned earlier, I have done a couple of lives because I didn't have to work and it worked out. But if you have suggestions for guest topics, you want to talk to me, you just want to say hello. I don't have a website yet, but you can email me at paranormalheart13@gmail.com. I'm also not only on UPRN, but I'm on Podbean, YouTube, all the Apple, wherever you find podcasts, I am there.
That's brilliant. Thank you for sharing your night with me.
Well, it was such an honor. I was just looking at the time, like almost 2 hours. I didn't even see it go by.
Yeah, it went by really fast. James, thank you so much. He's just saying another great show, ladies, and Contessa's saying great show. Thank you so much, everybody.
Yeah, thank you to the chat. Like, you guys are all amazing.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, everybody that participated in the chat and was here supporting. I am super grateful and always appreciative. Next week, I have the Connor sisters coming on. They are generational Appalachian witches, and we're going to talk about Appalachian conjuring next week.
I love that.
Yeah, me too. I have so many questions. I'm super excited for next week. So thank you so much also to the United Public Radio Network and the UFO Paranormal Radio Network, 105.3 in the Gulf Coast and 107.7 FM out of New Orleans. Please stay listening. Jeffrey Pritchett is up next with the Church of Mavis. And I hope everyone has a great week, and we'll see you back here next week.
Much love, everybody.
Good night.